What's up, my beautiful people? Exile451 here with another daily dose of Reddit Hope and Happy, and today we're going into r/GetDisciplined to talk about how you might be the only one keeping your dreams from coming true. So, let's get to it. Our first post is from user PETA55. Why entering flow when gaming is easy, but when working is difficult, and not necessary. There was a question in an AMA regarding why it is so easy to enter a state of flow when playing video games, compared to when going to work. I shared my take on it as a clinical psychologist and was suggested to copy the comment here since it might be interesting to some. Please feel free to delete this or ignore it if it doesn't fit the guidelines of the subreddit or simply annoys you. I wouldn't want to waste anyone's time. As many might already know, the state of flow is conceptualized as more or less equivalent balance of personal ability and difficulty of the task. You can skip the following example if you're already familiar with the principle. Say for example, you're a boxer, have been training for about 2 years now, and your first fight is coming up. Should the opponent be of roughly the same weight, age, and skill as you, the difficulty for you both will be high enough that it demands your full attention. However, the skill of the opponent might not be too much higher than yours, so that you feel overwhelmed during the fight. In the optimal scenario, both of you become so immersed without being depressed or frustrated that you blend out everything around you, even time, and fight to your full potential. Easy enough to understand, I hope. Now, should your opponent be a lot more experienced, say 5 years into training, the difficulty of the task will take up more of your attention and energy than you can handle. You might become frustrated, irritated, hopeless, and in the end, you won't be able to enter the tunnel of flow. Same goes for when the opponent is way weaker. The task becomes so easy that your brain will not deem it worthy of your full attention. And though you will probably win, entering the flow tunnel will probably not happen in this scenario either, since your brain will be bored and have too much room for other thoughts and stimuli. I hope that wasn't too wordy. With that in mind, let's look at video games. Say you start playing Pokemon for the first time, just as an example. The game is new, but the single steps to understanding it are probably not too difficult to comprehend. You learn how to catch Pokemon, how to fight, how to level, etc. If the game happens to be around your level of skill, you will lose track of time and be immersed in it. However, if it happens to be your 20th playthrough, you might start with enthusiasm, yet lose interest 2 hours in because the difficulty is far too low for you. No challenges exist, and so you are just strolling by. You might still keep playing, I will get to that in a moment, but you won't enter flow state. Same goes, of course, once again for when you play a game that is too hard for you. Online games are the easiest example of this. Whenever I try to play Battlefield or Call of Duty online at my friend's place, I stop about 5 minutes into the round simply because I do not even understand where I'm getting shot at from or where the enemies even are. Therefore, no flow state for me either. Games, just like drugs, albeit fairly weaker depending on the drug of course, have another ace up their sleeve however: the reward. With the flow step, the result is not always of importance. Sometimes, not at all. If an artist works on a sculpture or painting for 3 months, he might still enter flow on most of those days, but the result doesn't happen until he is finished. You don't get a medal every time you spar in your boxing gym. Neither do you get a degree every time you read an interesting paper. Of course, the personal joy and fulfillment or the things we learn might count as a result, but I'm talking about an actual tangible goal here. The discussion about what could count as a result would derail this a lot, so just bear with me. And of course, once again, some small results sprinkled in between the gameplay are the exact hits to the reward system our brain loves so much. Forging a sword in real life? How about 5 years of training and tens of hours of work? Forging a sword in Skyrim? Click. Done, there it is, shiny and new. Training a pet to do an awesome trick in real life? Months, maybe years to go. Teaching a Pokemon a new attack? Just 13 more minutes of grinding and I can use Ember. Those little rewards can keep you to the screen even if the game does not give you the actual flow of difficult enough but not too hard. And time goes by in that way fast. Now for the work question. I personally think that the idea of finding work which lets you enter a flow state is a very high demand and goal to put on yourself. Maybe 1 to 5% of people in the workforce have that luxury. And if you really have something you want to pursue that you love and make a living off of it, awesome. But most people are not as fortunate. Hunting wasn't always fun for our ancestors. I don't imagine them being out there experiencing flow for 4 days straight, itching to go back whenever they brought their prey home immediately. It was rough. But what made them do it was the reward of feeding themselves and caring for their loved ones. That's exactly why drugs, as well as porn and games, are such easy habits to get addicted to. You take the balance of exhausting yourself because it's worth it and skew it way towards the worth it with a lot less exhausting. In the short term, that is. Working out and eating healthy for a healthy body in your 50s is hard. Good in the long term, but hard. Eating pizza and playing games for 15 hours straight is not hard compared to how fun it is. And you don't have to wait for the result in the future. The fun and tasty happens now. Taking cocaine? How about an experience or reward 100 times that of any activity you enjoy for the difficulty of sniffing powder up your nose? That's why I always tell my clients that the why of their pursuit is so important. I'll stay with the drugs for a tad more. Suppose you want to drop alcohol. Tough process, even life-threatening if you do it yourself. The cravings will be really massive the first months, and they won't leave for the rest of your life. Sure, they'll become more seldom, weaker, shorter, but they will always be there. And one drink might mean months of consumption again. So, of course, the brain at some point will ask itself, why the frick am I doing this? That's the point where you need an answer. If you don't have it, the reptilian part of your brain looking for an immediate problem solution will kick in and look for the next bottle. To come full circle, if you have the possibility to pursue your dream job, great. If not, then you might try to not impose a standard of, I should enter flow at my work somehow, on yourself. Make your job easier, sure, more manageable, find fun things to do, maybe form solid relationships with your coworkers. But ask yourself what your why is outside of it. Maybe to support your family, maybe to support your hobby, maybe to keep a roof over your head and food in your stomach because you have other goals a year from now. Whatever it is, find that and try to lessen the stress your job gives you. Remember, the hunt doesn't have to be fun or put you into flow, but you need that prey. That was long, sorry, but Corona gave me some time to spend and I tend to be a bit wordy when explaining something. Anyways, have a good day and stay safe. Well, like you said, OP, that was long, but that's really, really good stuff there. I never even really considered what the flow, as you put it, is, but now that you mention it, looking back, I can definitely notice points in my life where that's been the situation, and most other points where it's not been, especially with previous jobs that I've worked. Even sometimes doing this. And honestly, you're really right. Not everyone does have the luxury of doing what it is that they want to do with their life. Sometimes you just have to settle for the job that you can find and make the best of what you can do. But like you said, that doesn't mean it has to be negative. It doesn't have to be a drag on your life. You can make the best of it. And when you do, I suppose that you probably can enter that flow, as you put it. But pursuing these sort of instant highs, this fake sensation of pleasure or immediate gratification are the things that I think derail a lot of us, especially when they're used as a means to numb out, when you do become addicted to them. And I'm grateful that you touched on that and equated the two, because I've known people that have struggled with video game or porn or even drug addiction at some points, and it's definitely affected their life and their ability to either just do their job or even live life in general. You're onto something here, and I really appreciate the post. Thank you so much for sharing it, and wherever you're at, I really do wish you the best. Our next post is any video you want in the playlist link here on the left, or if you want to check out what YouTube thinks might be best for you, click the button on the right. Now you guys, stay safe, stay healthy, stay inside if you're supposed to. I will see you all on Monday. Until then, I'm Exile451. Stay beautiful, people.